This week I've been living with the 2025 Toyota 4Runner Limited. Base price for the 4Runner starts at just over $42,000, and as tested for this limited trim is just over $62,000. This is finished in Heritage Blue. I think it looks very sharp. Like I said, but I've been living with this all week. I've taken it to work, run some errands in it, and really enjoy my time in it. And in this video, I'm going to be giving you my impressions on what it's been like to live with. There is a ton of trims available for the new 4Runner, all the way from SR5 to TRD Pro Limited. There's a couple different powertrains. So in this video, I'm gonna be describing if it's worth it or if you should just swing for a Toyota Land Cruiser or the Lexus GX. Up front here, you do get LED daytime running lights and LED headlights as well, fog lights, and an air dam that kind of gets in the way. Somebody already blasted this and it's held together by a zip tie right there. You do get a power liftgate, and this window actually does roll down. Back here, you do get tons of cargo space, and this is actually outfitted with the optional third row, although we will not be getting into it right now because I did not take out the cargo shade here. If you're buying this to haul some people around, it's fine in a pinch, but if your main focus is hauling your kids around, I would swing for a Toyota Highlander or something a little bit bigger. Back here, you do get a 400-watt outlet, which is very nice. Couple cup holders. Like I said, tons of space, but the lift height is kind of high. You do get a cargo net here as well. Go ahead and check out the back seat real quick. Power running boards on the limited trim here. Climbing into the back of the 4Runner here. This roof line is like kind of low. I just blasted my head on this in a different take, and that kind of hurt, not gonna lie. But back here, pretty nice place to be. No rear heated seats or ventilated seats in this model, but you do get this nice brown interior and a couple cup holders, couple vents, couple USB-C ports, another 400-watt outlet, and a map pocket. And like the Land Cruiser and the GX, I suffer from not very much foot room because of whatever this is right here. There's like a box right here, and with my giant size 13 feet, I don't have enough foot room to wiggle around my feet. You get a decent amount of cargo space in the doors, nice little cup holders in there. These seats are very comfortable though. They are very plush. I could sit back here for hours. To get into the optional third row, all you gotta do is just lift the lever there, folds up, and then these seats will fold up into that third row. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's under the hood real quick. So under the hood of the 6th generation 4Runner is a 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Makes about 278 horsepower and returns about 20 combined miles a gallon. We'll get into the driving characteristics as we go along here, but one thing I do want to point out is, why is there a prop rod? This is a $60,000 SUV and there's no hood strut. You can get the new 4Runner in a hybrid powertrain. It is standard on a few models. I think the TRD Pro models adds a little bit more power, I think like 324 or so, and increases the fuel economy just a little bit. You get smart key access as well. Really like this exterior color with this interior color. It really complements each other nicely. Heated and ventilated front seats, both power as well, 2-person memory for the driver. Climbing into the cabin here, you do get a digital gauge cluster that we've seen in multiple Toyota models, as well as a 14-inch infotainment with a 360 reverse cam. Guidance lines that moves as well, wireless Android Auto, wireless CarPlay. This does have the optional JBL sound system. No complaints with the infotainment this week. Everything connects flawlessly. Toyota's infotainments are actually really good. And while we're kind of talking about stereos and infotainments, might as well just take the JBL speaker out that you can remove and listen to tunes if you want. Not sure how I feel about that. In my Toyota Tacoma review that I did a while back, it did introduce some rattles to the cabin, and I know this is directly in some sunlight, so I'm not sure, you know, battery operated products are not supposed to be in sunlight, so I'm curious to see how that's going to do long term, especially with like battery expansion and stuff like that. Coming down through here, you do get dual zone climate control, your heat and ventilated seat controls, nice little gear selector here, parking brake. This does have a part-time 4-wheel drive system here. You can control it with that. Tow haul mode, this 4Runner can actually tow 6,000 pounds. That's actually 1,000 pounds more than the outgoing generation. Do get trailer brake controls up here as well. This does have a optional trailer assist package that helps with that, your park view cameras, and a auto start stop. Couple cup holders, decent size center console here. Pretty massive glove box and some storage up here. Auto dimming rear view mirror with HomeLink and a digital rear view mirror. And let's see if we can open that rear window. You can see that in the rear view mirror there. I think that's pretty cool. I retained that from the previous generation. This does have a sunroof as well and illuminated visor mirrors. And I believe, if I remember correctly, this does have a, I'm not sure how to get it out. lantern on the side here, which is pretty cool. Not quite sure how to turn this on. Actually, it doesn't work. Or I'm just stupid. Maybe I'm stupid. I mean, this is like a $120 option. But it just fits right in here, which is kind of nice. Do get a lot of storage in the door while we're over here as well. A couple of cup holders, this nice little storage there. There's a lot of storage in here. Pretty nice use of space. Do get a wireless cell phone charger, forgot to mention that, some connectivity and a place to put some more phones. Overall, I like this interior, honestly. It is really nice. I had a Toyota Tacoma a while back that, you know, obviously had the exact same interior, and it had a lot of rattles, a lot of issues, and I wasn't really a big fan of it. But this one seems to be really well put together. I know this is built in Japan. I'm not sure where the Tacoma is, but this interior seems to be put together pretty nicely. Materials are nice. No squeaks, no rattles this week. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and put on our seatbelt and take this for a spin and see what it's like to drive on the road. As you can see here in the gauge cluster, I've been averaging 19.5 miles a gallon, and that includes me just sitting there idling with my multiple takes that I've had with this thing. But yeah, really no complaints with the fuel economy. On my way to work and back, I have a 25-mile commute to work now. And I've been averaging about 21, 22 miles a gallon in this thing. So really no complaints with the fuel economy of this thing, hardly at all, with the size of the SUV. As we're coming to a stop here, that is one of my main critiques about this new 4Runner, is that I think the brakes are a little weak in my opinion. They're very spongy and leaves a little bit to be desired. Taking this corner here, there is a lot of body roll, as you'd expect from an SUV of this size. Doesn't handle particularly well. This turbocharged 4-cylinder can be a little asthmatic. It's not very much faster than the outgoing 4-liter V6, the tried and true 4-liter V6, but does pack a little bit more torque, at least it's what my butt dyno feels, and returns some pretty decent, respectable fuel economy numbers. On this bumpier section of road, you do feel a lot of reverberations. Honestly, this doesn't feel much different than the outgoing 4Runner. I don't know if you guys can hear my voice getting bounced around a little bit across this. I mean, it rides pretty decent. I mean, for what it is, it's fine. Everything here, you know, is pretty much driver-centric. I mean, I don't have to lean forward to adjust my climate. The screen's right there, it's giant. I can make my adjustments without leaning forward. Inputs are nice. In my opinion, I think it's a very well thought out and put together cabin. Do have several different drive modes that you can control down here. You got Custom, Sport Plus, Sport S, Normal, and Comfort and Eco. I've just been driving around in Normal this week. I haven't really noticed a huge difference in the drive modes in this thing. Obviously Sport and Sport Plus, you know, mess around with the transmission programming a little bit, but I mean, it's a 4Runner. You're not going to be drag racing this thing. I do wish the gauge cluster was a little bit brighter. It does kind of dull out a little bit on sunny days like this. All right, let's do a quick acceleration test onto a highway. Floor it. Not too bad. I mean, like I said earlier, it's not much faster than the outgoing model, but, you know, gets the job done. I'm sure if you live in a higher elevation, the turbo is going to help you a lot. I've seen a lot of Instagram reels about and memes about this, these old 4Runners and the power level that they have. Cracks me up. This vehicle does come equipped with Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. You do get your adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, a whole host of safety features. Pretty easy to engage the adaptive cruise and lane tracing assist. Keeps you centered nicely. Adjust your following distance here. Throttle response is pretty good. There's not a whole lot of delay. Not bad. I don't think it sounds too terribly bad either. To get blind spot monitoring in the mirrors. On the highway here, there is quite a bit of wind noise and tire noise. It's still a 4Runner, that's for sure. The Land Cruiser and the GX is quite a bit quieter, but you know, this is a little less refined than that. You know, it is noticeable, but I don't find it unacceptable for longer trips. One thing I do notice is there's no automatic wipers on this thing, which is interesting, especially for the price that this thing costs. Visibility is pretty decent. I can see out the back window and the side windows, but this pillar here could kind of get in the way a little bit. Throw this into a corner. Holy crap. Definitely a lot of understeer, a lot of body roll. You're not going to be canyon carving in your 4Runner. You're probably going to be going up canyons, but not carving through them. That's okay. It's not what, you know, this thing's intended for. You know, all the critiques that I've said, you know, I don't think it's necessarily bad, because I don't want this to be a nice, nimble SUV. You know, you get a crossover for something like that. This is supposed to be like the, you know, the lifestyle SUV. I mean, you see these all the time on off-road trails. At least I have. Although while we're on that topic, you know, the Land Cruiser and the 4Runner, or the Land Cruiser and the GX do drive better, but it's not, you know, an inherently bad SUV. One critique I did read online is that the second row doesn't fold completely flat, and I forgot to demonstrate that. So I know a lot of people camp in these things. So you're going to have a little bit of a hump if you want to put a mattress in the back of this. So that is a little bit of a bummer. It is kind of refreshing climbing back into an SUV that feels more old school and analog compared to everything else I've driven these days. Let's see what the horn sounds like. Oh, no way! You cheaped on the horn and the prop rods, but it'd kill you to spend the extra 20 bucks to put those in. That's hilarious. Time will tell to see how reliable it will be. Obviously with a turbo, you know, it's an extra point of failure. So, I mean, statistically, it may not be as reliable as the outgoing V6, but I mean, you never know, we'll find out. So the question is this worth $62,000? I don't know. In my opinion, if I had this much money to blow, I would spend a little bit more and get the Lexus GX. I think it is more refined. Obviously, you get that V6, which is just incredible. Better towing capacity as well. Rides a little bit better. It's a lot more comfortable. And, you know, that GX that I reviewed a couple months ago was, you know, 66 grand. It's not that much more than this. That is, if you can find them at the dealers, you know, that don't have a egregious markup. I think the Land Cruiser and the GX might be a better value than this. I'd love to test an SR5, a base model SR5. So I'm gonna try to get that for you guys, because I don't see a whole lot of value in this limited trim. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about the new 6th generation 4Runner and how you think it stacks up against the competition. You know, the competition being the previous generation as well, if you think it's better or worse. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Shout out to Toyota for providing this vehicle for me to film this week. It has been a pleasure. Please be sure to like and subscribe as well, and we'll go ahead and see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.